بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون رضا بقضائه وتسليما السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. Indeed, it is Sham-e-Ghariba. Sham being the evening, and Ghariba is referring toward the family of Imam Hussein, who's Gharibul Watan. They're strangers in the land of Karbala, and this is their night. The reason we emphasize a great deal of the morning of Ashur, midday, afternoon, and then Sham. It is very difficult to comprehend that if we lose a loved one in our family, you and I are not in our senses. But imagine losing 18 members of your household. And then all in all, 72 of the best of the men that you can find. When we lose one loved one, we're unable to concentrate properly. But when you lose that many, if it's not for the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, definitely it's difficult for anyone to survive. When the sound of the martyrdom of Hussein was raised, Allah qad qutila al-Husayn bi Karbala. Allah qad dhubiha al-Husayn bi Karbala. That indeed Hussein has been killed and martyred in Karbala. And indeed Hussein has been slaughtered in Karbala. This was a time for the women to start worrying about themselves. Up until this point, they had Abbas with them. They had Qasim, they had Ali Akbar, they had Hussein. Now they don't have any one of them. Imagine your loved ones are killed in front of your eyes. What are you supposed to do as Muslims? Bury the bodies of those killed. But these people had no Islam whatsoever. You find the resemblance of these barbaric individuals today in the form of ISIS. Not only they killed Hussein and his companions, they severed their heads from the bodies. What are you going to attain by removing the heads from the bodies? There was a hukm to bring the heads to Amir. Okay, if you remove the heads, now bury the bodies? No. They ask, which amongst you are going to line up and trample the body of Shuhada? Ajrukum Allah. Imagine you kill them, you sever their heads. Isn't that enough? Now you have to trample the bodies by making the horses run over the... Shanidan kaybuwad misladidan. When that had happened, there was a cry that came. that now let's turn our attentions towards the tent of Hussein. Khayam Hussein, the ones which were untouched up until this point, were now in great danger. Ashqiya, just like any battle, now they want to get the ghanimat and the booty of war. They said, let's go attack the tents of Ahlul Bayt and get whatever we can. They start attacking the tents. Janab Zainab says that I saw a man coming inside the tent. I was terrified. Then he snatched my veil and my chadar. I pleaded to him that, do you know who I am? In front of me, he snatched the earrings from the ears of the girls. And I said to him, do you know who we are? That man says, yes, I know who you are. And he started to cry. Zainab said, you're looting us, you're stealing from us, you're taking things away from us, and yet you're crying? He said, I'm crying because I'm doing this crime to the Al-Bayt. But I'm doing this because if I don't, someone else will do it. Janab Fatima says, the daughter of Hussein, that a man came running, he was running after me. And I fell to the ground, he snatched my chadar. And then I don't know, I blacked out. When I woke up, my aunt Zainab was sitting next to me. I said, oh, aunt, what happened? She said, don't worry. She said, but go out and look for other ladies, what conditions they're in. Fatima said, I said to my aunt, I don't have any chadar. How do you expect me to go out? She said, Ammatuki mithlak. Your aunt is staying where as you are. We all have been through this already. At least their chadars were taken away, but they were still under the tents. They didn't have to go out just yet. But they did not know what was to come next. In fact, I guess they were prepared for anything. What could be worse than what has already happened to their shuhada? These women who are now in a state of mourning for their loved ones, their husbands, their brothers, their children, now have to go through this atrocity as well. That's what completes the Sham-e Ghariba. That's what Sham-e Ghariba is. If not enough, that they said, now burn the tents. Fire was brought to start burning the tents. They burned one tent. Obviously, the ladies, they come running out and go to. They burn down the next tent. They go towards the third tent. One after another, they burned all of the khiyam of Hussein ibn Ali. Because enemy knows when there are no men, they can go ahead and do whatever they want to. They kept on burning the tents until one last tent remained. That too was also burnt. But there was this lady, Hamid says, I saw this lady. She would go inside the tent and then she would come out the tent. She went back inside and then as if she was asking for help. I said to that lady, what are you waiting for? They had already asked Imam Zainul Abidin, should we burn inside the tents or should we save our lives? He said to his aunt, Anti fahimatu ghayri mufhima, Anti alimatu ghayri muallima. You know better than me, oh my aunt. Saving the life is over above being. He said, I could not bear to ask this lady that she kept on going inside. I said, is there something valuable that you have inside this tent? She said, yes, everything valuable that we had, they have already snatched, but I have my Hussein Sajjad inside this tent that I cannot bring him out by myself. Imam Hussein, when he had left Imam Sajjad was feeling ill. He was laying on this leather skin, which was sort of like his bed. Enemy comes and snatches this bed from underneath Imam Sajjad that he flipped upside down. But now when the tent was burning, Janab Zainab sees no way to save Imam of the time. She lifts Imam Sajjad on her back and then she comes out of the tent. Ajrukum Allah. May Allah give you no grief except the grief and the sorrow of Ahlul Bayt. This is Sham-e Ghariba. Indeed, it is difficult. Now they don't have any place to hide themselves. They're covering their faces, they're covering their heads. But when the tents were being burnt, this is where the biggest chaos took place, as all the children who were with them, they were scattered. Shair says they were scattered like the beads of a tasbih. If you open the beads of the tasbih, they scatter all over the place. Same thing happened to the children. Some of the children went underneath the horses and they died out of that. Some of the children died out of hunger and immense thirst. But some of the children who were alive, they were spread and scattered all around the place. A person says that I saw a 4-year-old walking towards Najaf. I said, oh my son, where are you going? Who are you? He said, I'm Muhammad ibn Ali. This is your 5th Imam, Imam Baqir. He said, where are you going? He said, I'm going towards Najaf. I'm going towards Najaf so I can complain to Mawla Ali to come and see what has happened in Karbala. Ajrukum Allah. Zainab has dual duties now. She also has to take care of the children. She has to take care of all the ladies. She is now the Sipah Salar. When Imam Hussein was leaving, this was the command of Imam Hussein. O Zainab, my charge and my command was up until this point. Now you're in charge. O Zainab, la tansini fi salat al-layl. Imam has so much belief in his sister that he says, do not forgive me in your namaz-e-shab, in your salatul layl. But Zainab has another duty. She has to now take care of the kids. She has to now take care of the family members, the remaining family members. And she now has to serve as a nigahban. She has to serve as a sipah salar. But Zainab, she's counting the kids. She aligns the bodies of those who were killed. Hussein has been collecting the bodies since morning. Now Zainab is collecting the bodies of the children. Ajrukum Allah. When she was able to locate all the children, dead or alive, she sees and says to Kulthum, oh Kulthum, I do not see young Sakina. We had made a promise to our brother Hussein that will take care of Sakina. I do not see Sakina anywhere. Zainab says, I'll go towards Maktal. Kulthum says, I'll go towards the jungle. We'll look for Sakina. And as they were walking, they're calling, Ya Sakina. Oh Sakina, respond if you hear us. Imagine if you lose your child in the darkness of the night, what goes through you, how terrified you would be. You don't know their fate. Are they alive or they dead? Nonetheless, they're looking for her. Zainab says that as I was calling for Sakina, I located her laying near a body. I pick up Sakina. I saw she was sleeping on the body. I said, oh Sakina, what are you doing over here? She said, when the enemies came and they burned the tents, I ran towards Maktal. And when I ran towards Maktal, I was calling Baba. Baba. Oh Baba, where are you? I saw 2 hands come up. They came. Zainab said, oh Sakina, you recognize the body with the head. How did you know this was the body of your Baba? Ajrukum Allah. May Allah give you no grief. except the grief of Ahl Bayt. Zainab picks up Sakina, brings her back near where all the children were. And then the riwayat mention, because Umar Saad apparently had won the war, he said there's no harm in sending the water. They send the water for the ladies and the wives. Janab Zainab says, let's give it to the children first. They said, oh Sakina, here's some water for you. Go ahead and quench your thirst. Sakina says she picks up the water and she started walking towards Maktal. Zainab said, oh Sakina, just the children must quench their thirst. My 6-month-old is thirsty. Ali Asghar left this world thirsty. He must quench his thirst before I can drink any water. Zainab collects Sakina, brings her back. Now the children are sleeping under the open sky. They don't have tents above their heads, so they're sleeping because they've had a long day. They've seen all sorts of suffering. Nothing could get any worse anymore. Zainab does not know what lies ahead of them, but she's able to get control over the children. Everybody has fallen asleep. Now Zainab is controlling. She's looking after everyone. But in this while, she sees a man riding a horse coming towards the children, coming towards the people who are sleeping. Zainab says, oh horseman, stop where you are. There's nothing to find over here. The horseman doesn't stop. He keeps on coming. Now Zainab gets up from her place. She says that I am the daughter of Ali. Go back. There's nothing to find over here. We've already been looted. Everything has been taken away from us. But the man kept riding. As soon as he got close to Zainab, Zainab drew herself out. She stands up like the daughter of the lion, only to see when the man removed his niqab that she sees Ali ibn Abi Talib is here. Zainab feeds Baba, Abaya Baba.